try this again. Hey, hello, welcome back. So my series, I'm talking about that I was a whole witch and didn't even know it. And I didn't put a title. I don't have a title. Don't try to have a title for this series. But I guess it was I was a whole witch, didn't even know it. And very simple. But really what I was doing was a lot of New Age spiritualism. That's what the name of what I was doing. When I look back on it, there was no name. At the time, it was just looking for inner healing. That was what I was looking for. And so go check out my last video. I talked a lot about where this started from and where perversion came into my life and skewed the way I saw God when I was in church and just didn't know who I was, a lack of identity, and a lot of like brokenness and hurt and traumas were laying dormant. So when I went into rebellion, I ended up seeking other things besides God in the sense, right? So then going into idolatry and that such. So as I get into this, right now I'm talking about, so right now I will start with where I kind of like left off. I talked about where zodiac signs, my zodiac sign when I went to college, I was very heavily involved in astrology. I was very much like, I'm an Aries and this is what I am and you can't tell me anything, right? Like knew my sun sign, my moon sign, my rising sign, and all the above, right? And there's a danger in putting your identity in something that is man-made. There's a danger in it. And really it robs you of your soul. It robs you of your inner peace that only God can truly give you, only Jesus can give you. And when I say God, I'm going to reference Jesus for the sake that Jesus is Lord and he is Lord of Lords. He is King of Kings. Because a lot of the time when I was in this, right, I would say, I believe God, right? But I put God in a category of like, I knew that there was a creator of the universe, right? I knew that, but I didn't want to associate with him because the way I saw the church had skewed my viewpoint of him. So I would look at the universe. I would say the universe. I would say, manifesting and that. And so that's like way more in depth, but that a lot of the New Age spiritualism believes in, your astrology sign and manifestation of like the things that you want. While yes, you can believe that those things can come to pass and they will, and that is manifesting. You can manifest that, but it's not in the sense that it's something for your own sake. It is really a biblical term that has been perverted and twisted into the way that, because the devil, before I finish, the devil cannot create anything be original because he is a created being. So he cannot create something to be an original. He can't. He just can't. He takes everything that God has created and called it good and perverts it and twists it to evil and bringing you away from God. That's his whole agenda. His agenda is to steal, kill, and destroy. Kill, steal, and destroy. That's literally his whole agenda. I hate him. And I know he hates me, but it's okay because we finna get this out and I believe people are gonna get set free from this because even this is the way he's trying to like silence me. It's like, nope, muzzle's off. So I'm gonna share this. Anyways, okay. So the zodiac signs, and again, like putting my identity in something that there was no foundation in, right? Like astrology is a man-made idea and really it's demonic. There's a lot of demonic in it, and just seek the Lord on your own revelation of it. But I'm gonna drop scriptures in the description for some of the things I'm referencing. So that way you can go to the Bible and look up for yourself and then ask God. Because that's what it is. This is my story. This is my testimony. This is the testament of the goodness of God. So zodiac signs. And then again, I got into crystals. So like I would get around friends who like we would smoke weed together, and then like we would drink, we would smoke, like we'd have a good time, we'd be dancing and all that stuff. And then you know, then it'd be like, oh, what's this? And then it'd be like, oh, it's my crystals, like, you know. And I'm like, oh, what is that? And I would ask questions, and then they would tell me. And my one friend, she was like, yeah, I'm a witch, like, and she was very much more like into, how could I say it, like, I don't really know, but it was kind of like I knew. I was like, I don't know about that, because to me, I had already knew like what witch was related to. So I wouldn't call myself witch. I was like, I'm not gonna do what she's doing, right? But I was doing some of the things, right? I was, oh, I'll tie the crystals, I'll look at these crystals, right? I'll look at, you know, oh, the chakras, oh, okay. But when it came down to like, she had tarot cards, I was like, yeah, no, I don't know about that. I don't know about that, I'm good, right? Like, just trying to like shy away from that, because I already knew what they were. But I knew that they were bad. That's all I knew. I knew they were bad. I knew that I wasn't supposed to get involved with that. That's what I did know. So the thing is like, we all have a knowledge of good and evil. We know what is good and evil. And you may think like you don't know, but you do. You have a sense inside of you, and that's God, who is like, he created us in his own image. So he will hint that that's not good. Don't do that, you know? But yeah. So I got involved with the crystals, and those crystals, my friend, she would tell me to like put the crystals by like the window and charge them up. So that way, like, so she would show me like what cycle syncing was with like your period, and then like your crystals, like charging them to help like your mood and your energy. So if like you're depressed or like anxious and stuff, it helps with anxiety, you know. And I was really anxious, so it was like she knew that like it helped with that. I was very anxious, so I was like, yeah, like I'm gonna totally do that. I had a lot of anxiety, and I was very depressed. And then my dad had passed, and my mom had moved away. So I was like very depressed, right? And just grieving. And then I got in a relationship, and just all kinds of things just kept happening, right? And so I was even more depressed. So as I go into, what's it called? Like, I was in college, I started buying little things that would open me up to more. So how I say it, like Hinduism, there was like these like flags. I would buy like those, and I would hang them up like as decoration, not knowing what I was inviting in my house. And then I would buy like Buddhism books. Like, I thought there was truth in many religions, so I was buying these things and researching a lot of these other religions, and really they're false gods. Really, that's all they are, because there's only one true living God. And so I was looking up into a lot of those things, and I began to do like a lot more meditations and yoga, and just trying to heal myself, heal my heart, you know, especially after the grief of my dad. I would smoke all the time. And when I got my own place, I went to move off campus. I got my own place. I ended up getting these little sage sticks in the smoke store. So I would sage my apartment, then I'd have incense. And when I would sage, I would speak like life into the atmosphere, right? And just saying like all negative energy has to go. I open my home to good energy and clean energy, right? And not knowing what I was doing, not knowing I was literally inviting demonic energy into my home. Demonic energy of rage and anger. Like, I was very angry. And I was already kind of angry when my dad passed, because I had unresolved questions and bitterness towards him. So it just only intensified. A lot of the feelings I had intensified. I was very, then I became double-minded, where like the boyfriend that I had, you know, he would open himself up to, like, we got into like a, you know, that polyamory type thing. But I like wanted him by myself, but then I didn't, because I was interested in girls. Like I thought I liked girls. So I was like both ways. And so a lot more anxiety had heightened, and depression started to become more, and I would have like panic attacks, and I would only smoke more just to like have it go away. And then I'm like, okay, well, maybe I need to do something else. Like, what else do I have to do to get this to go away, right? And I tried to do therapy, and the therapy didn't work. It didn't work. They lost my file. So I was like, okay, well, fine. I'll just take matters in my own hand and find my own healing. And so I was just in such a dark place. I just remember being in such a dark place and just constantly like looking for healing. And I'm just keep on saying that because it was like I was on a hamster roll and looking and looking and looking. And when I would sage my apartment, like I would get more angry. Like me and my ex-boyfriend, we would fight a lot, and rage really came in at that point, because we would go out and I would black out. And when I blacked out, I know a demon took over me, because like I would fight people. And my ex would be like, you don't remember, like you were cursing people out, like you were cursing me out, like you were trying to fight me, like we were having a good night, and next thing you know, like you're fighting me. And like I didn't know that I was manifesting a whole demon. And I was just so angry. I was so angry. And it kept on like intensifying in terms of like my desire to just heal, because I'm like, well, I don't want to be angry. I want to keep this man. And because, you know, I didn't know who I was, so I didn't have self-worth. I didn't know like I needed to not be in a relationship. I felt like he was the only thing that was keeping me together. I felt like, okay, if I can do this, he'll stay with me. So now I've become a little bit more manipulative in us together. So I would do what he wanted to do, and to keep him together, like keep him with me. And I don't remember doing any like spells or anything on him, but I definitely know like manipulation was a thing. Because like and I think both of us, we both were, but like I take responsibility for my own actions. And I will never sit here and be like, he did this, like when I was a whole mess, and know and recognize where I should have parted ways, where I should have, but it's okay, because it shows me that God really is in control of everything. He works everything out for our good. So finally, when we moved to a different place. And when we moved, I continued to get more involved in like my chakras. So now I'm understanding my third eye and my crown chakra and the throat chakra and your soul. So like when I felt like I couldn't speak and stuff, I felt like my throat chakra was. So then there was chants that you would do to clear, or like, what do they call it? Open up like your throat chakra, open up your third eye, and do all those things. So you had to get the certain crystals that matched with the chakra, and then you would meditate on it. You would light your candles. What I would do, I would light my candles, and I would meditate, and then I'd have my then I end up getting a sound bowl. So the sound bowl, I would like, it's like a bowl, and this is what I did. I like did this, and it would make like a sound. It would vibrate. And inside it had a picture of like one of the chakras. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, what I was doing was I was opening myself up to be available, like as a vessel. So energy started to come into me. It wasn't the energy that I was looking for. It was literally me summoning demons inside of me. But I didn't know this at the time. I was just like, okay, I'm looking for healing. So when I would like get angry and I felt like I would choke up in my throat and I couldn't say what I wanted to say. I'm like, oh, my throat chakra's clogged or like closed, like it's not open. And it even like everything. So then it kept on growing into more, but my chakras was like the biggest thing. And then meditating, so I would read books on like how to become like my enlightened self, which was just trying to get my vibration to be higher. And if I had my chakras in line, then I would reach like a higher like version of enlightenment. And so I was constantly seeking this positive. So I was like, okay, if I speak positivity, then it's going to come back to me. So then I believed in karma. I believed that, like, you know, of course there's truth in all that. I believed that there was truth in all religions, and that, you know, if I put something out good, that's going to come back to me good. And so like I would just speak positivity, but it was a toxic positivity. It wasn't me owning my emotions. There's a difference between being optimistic and having toxic positivity. Toxic positivity was a sense of ignoring my problems, ignoring the things that I was feeling inside of me, and just saying, okay, if I just am happy, if I just speak all these good things and I just show up as happy, then I'll be happy. And it's like, that's not how it works. Like, you have to acknowledge your feelings. And so I had to acknowledge how I was feeling, but I didn't want to do that because that was messy and that hurt. And so if I kept on going to this higher version of myself, I would be healed. And so I was, again, seeking healing in these things that I was doing, and I was not finding it. You know, I was more anxious. Every time I was sage, I would be more anxious, more depressed. I'd have terrible nightmares. I would be fighting with my ex all the time. And when I invited the other girl in, like when we invited the other girl in, like now her energies are coming into her. So then I would sage more because I'm like, okay, no, it's her. She's the one who brought this in. So I need to sage this. No, I don't know what he's doing. He's acting shady. So let me go ahead and sage this up. And it was just like a continuous cycle. When I was going through all this, there was never a point where like, I was like, it was kind of like a drug, if that makes sense. Like, I was smoking weed, I was drinking, but like this was like a drug. It was like a game. It's like, how much fun can I have with it? And never once did I knew it wasn't God. Like, I knew it wasn't Jesus. And I wouldn't call out for Jesus because the way I had viewed Jesus and God at the time was perverted. I viewed it as the church, as like rules, as strict, as not love. Because how could God love me if he allowed me to go through all these things? How could God love me if his own people hurt me, right? Not even understanding that we're imperfect people. I was trying to reach a level of perfection because that's what the church taught me, and not knowing like I'm a whole imperfect person, and so were those people. And so a lot of times we'll get hurt by church people and think that that's God, and that's not. So I was angry at God and rebelled against him, and so went all the way in the opposite direction. I said, whatever, okay, you can have that, but you know, the universe will give it to me. You know, so I became speaking to the universe, manifesting these things that were in. So the spiritual realm is real. So you can say these things, and the enemy knows how to get you and show you these things to pull you farther away from God, get you out of alignment with what God really is trying to pull you into. So there's a lot there, but I'm going to dive a little bit more into, like, there was more that I went into, and like after I got broke up with that guy, because we were together for like almost 4 years, and in that time, that's when a lot of these things happened. And after we broke up, I ended up, there was a whole other level of things, and I'm like, that's crazy, like, to think about how it just kept on. And I was in all this time. No, I'm gonna save that. But yeah, so that is a little bit of my story. And so tune in for the next video. Have a good one.